What's up, everyone, and welcome to episode 128 of the Chumpcast. We've got a big one for you this week as we discuss how birds are not real, the NFL is fixed, Fyre Festival documentaries, and then we review Mads Mikkelsen's Netflix murder fest, Polar. Our buddy Chew dropped in to help out, so make sure you check him out at chewvideos.com. You can find us on all social media platforms at the Chumpcast. You can also call or text us at 847-920-6107. If you leave us a good enough message, you might hear yourself on a future episode. If you'd like to support the show, you can find our merch at thechumpcast.com. We always appreciate kind reviews, subscriptions, and ratings on Apple Podcasts. You can also shop on Amazon through our affiliate link at thechumpcast.com/Amazon. For early access and other goodies, check out patreon.com/thechumpcast. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some birds to investigate. I've been drinking all month.
Does wine fuck up your stomach ever? Like if you drink half a bottle?
I'll get like a little heartburn sometimes.
Oh.
Is that what you mean?
No, like last night I drank a bottle of wine. I don't know if it's what I ate with it, because I like pounded a bunch of beef jerky.
It's a great combo.
And then I was just on the toilet for like an hour. I'm like, fuck this wine.
I think in the midst of me not drinking, you just turned into me. That's something I would do, is just drink a full bottle of wine and eat an entire bag of beef jerky.
I got home from work. So Kelly, my wife, is gone. She's in Hawaii. I got home from work and there's like no food in the fridge. I literally almost took beef jerky and started dipping it in mayonnaise because I was so hungry. I'm just like, I have nothing to eat in the fridge. Fuck.
You're such a degenerate now. Your alcoholism is affecting our show.
I almost stayed out last night to like, there was a chance I was going to stay out till like 3 o'clock in the morning, but I didn't. I'm like, I was a piece of shit the last 2 episodes. So,
well, I'm proud of you being able to make it.
Because we have Chew here. I don't want to come here hungover as shit.
I appreciate
just dead brained.
I had to make a few decisions last night as well. Otherwise, it would have been the same story for me. But nice little Friday night in. I live above a liquor store, so I know all about like 2 a.m. meals of just like either Flamin' Hot Cheetos or beef jerky.
Yeah.
So
that's a clutch location, though. That's a clutch location for real.
All right, so we got to talk about these NFL games. We got a few things. First of all, we need to pick right now what shitty movie the other loser of this bet needs to watch. Because Brick already lost.
It's bullshit.
How is that bullshit?
So if me or you lose,
dibs.
we have to watch it with Brick, or do we have to watch our own movie?
So I think what we should do, this should be our first movie night with the Chumpcast. This will be the very first iteration of like we sit down, record it, and if you want to watch this shitty movie too, you can watch it along with us.
Okay. I mean, it's not a very good first go at it, just picking a shitty ass movie to watch, but
you got a better idea?
I don't care. Let's think of what shitty movie should we watch? I already watched fucking, what is it?
Hurricane Heist? Yeah, but you lost a bet. Like that, you didn't just watch that for the show. That was a bet that you paid off 6 months later.
So to go back, we bet last week on who would win the Super Bowl. There's 4 teams. I believe I had the Chiefs. They got robbed, but not as robbed as the Saints, because I also was good to pick them, but I couldn't. But
so you had choice of both of the number 1 seeds.
No, I didn't. Oh, yes, I did.
Yes, you did.
You would have lost no matter what.
Yeah.
I got last pick.
You guys laughed at me when I said Rams, so you weren't going to pick Rams.
They also shouldn't have won that game.
Yeah. But still, they won. Get fucked.
What's the end game for Roger Goodell in the NFL here, screwing the Saints out of that victory? Does he just hate the city of New Orleans?
It's got to be a beef with New Orleans.
I don't know.
Does he hate gumbo?
Some player there was like somebody that fake tweeted from a player account that was fake, like saying that Roger Goodell should go back and I guess try to recall the game.
That was Michael Thomas.
Was that real?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
one of my buddies was like, no, that wasn't a real tweet.
It was. And I listened to a lot of ridiculous sports talk radio, and they were talking about like how that rule could actually be applied, because there is a rule in the rule book that says you can go back and either replay it or the commissioner can overturn a decision
and like redo the game.
That's for like if in the middle of a play all of the lights go out.
Yeah.
That's the only, it's absolute act of God type shit. Not a missed call by a ref.
Yeah. Like not the Rams, like the 49ers Ravens Super Bowl.
Exactly. But they weren't actually playing when that happened. So Chew, I should mention we have a guest with us. Would you like to introduce yourself and weigh in on the NFL controversy?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. My name is Chew, and that's like the mouth movement and and the train noise.
Choo choo choo.
I've heard all the puns, but thanks again for having me here. This is great. I have a biased opinion because I took the Rams and the Pats on a parlay that day, so I was super happy when that non-call happened, and I have no opinion on it because I'm about $500 richer, so that's exactly where I'm at. Well, I just heard that who was the safety or the cornerback who got
Roby Coleman.
It was like a retroactive fine.
They fined him $26,000 for a flag that they didn't even throw.
I know, that to me is absurd.
That's salt in the wound.
Exactly.
So they knew that it was wrong. And
they're just trying to do something that's not going to make any Saints fan or any Saints player happier because cool.
He doesn't give a shit.
We're still not in the Super Bowl, and
it made it worse that he got fined too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
Because we botched it for sure, 100%, and you're going to pay for it, but your whole team's still out. See ya next year.
Do you have the odds right now for the Super Bowl?
It opened up.
Oh man,
I want to say even, and then it moved Pats by 2.
Yeah,
and it's probably at 3 right now.
If
it gets to 3.5, I'm on it. But even was probably a good bet. I took the Pats in our stupid movie bet because obviously you never bet against the Patriots.
You can't bet against the Patriots.
You can't.
Brutal.
I think in a lot of the books, the Pats were plus 1.5 for 10 minutes after the game.
Right.
And I should have jumped on that.
I did some live betting too while they were losing, which is the easiest thing in the world because you could just see that Tom Brady was going to come back and win that game 100%.
Yeah. You could easily see. 100%. Lock it in.
But back to the betting angle, I feel like somebody owes me a refund because I took the Saints. They won that game.
Yeah.
That game was over. Somebody fucked me out of money on that.
That's awful.
That's just bad bets, man. That's like someone draining a 3-pointer at the end of regulation because
no, that's a backdoor cover. This is not a backdoor cover. This is a shitty call that is orchestrated by the league because it's crooked as fuck. And I don't know if it was, maybe Vegas has something to do with this. Maybe all of the money was on the Saints except for Choose. By the way, I mean,
it was a wild bet. I took the underdogs and not necessarily underdogs with all those teams involved.
Tactically underdogs.
But yeah, it was just me just being a little goofy there. And to go to your point, when I saw that non-call, I just foresaw Jared Goff, Sean McVay, Roger Goodell's workings, just having these two new faces become the new faces of the NFL. And if there's anything that's going on in the National Football League, it's how much everyone loves Sean McVay's everything. I mean, I feel like
100%.
No matter what that dude does, it's
gold.
It's gold. And his coaching staff, if it's anyone that he was involved with, is now getting hired. And I was a little bit concerned that the same thing was going to happen to the Chiefs, because then in my head I was like, all right, Rams Chiefs, they have been the talk of the town.
They're the new faces
all
of the NFL.
Season, and I just saw that just happening. But then Tom Brady became Tom Brady.
Tom Brady's not done yet.
Well, they had a chance to close it out, right? The Chiefs had that penalty.
Yeah.
That technically would have ended the game because they would have just kneeled or whatever.
Yeah.
They shit the bed there.
Look, man, the NFL is crooked. I still love it. I watch it all the time. I got to ask, do you think overtime should be changed for the playoffs? Because at the end, that game's tied. Chiefs-Pats goes to overtime. The Patriots win a coin toss, and because of that, they go down the field, and everybody says, oh, well, it's fair because the defense gets a chance to stop him. Well, shouldn't the other defense have to stop
Tom Brady,
Patrick Mahomes? And I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
Exactly. That's my thing is I'm not too fond of the rule, but at the same time, you ask me, well, what would you want to do? I have no fucking idea.
College is more fair than this. College overtime rules are better.
Just add another entire quarter, play it out until someone actually wins up till the end of regulation. Let them beat themselves to death. It's the playoffs.
Then you're talking player safety and I don't know. That's tough.
Who cares?
Player safety.
What are you, a coward? What do you believe in, birds or something?
No, I'm not
Birds
an idiot. Before we get onto that, though, and we will, I had this crazy English teacher in high school, and anybody that went to high school with me knows exactly what I'm talking about. He drove this badass RX-7, which was super cool at the time, but he was a huge conspiracy theorist, and he believed that the Pats won the Super Bowl in 2002 because of 9/11. And the NFL was like, the Patriots, because everybody's feeling patriotic. The Patriots need to win the Super Bowl. And that was his entire reasoning. This guy was a fucking whack job.
Yo, connect the dots, man.
But later, he got fired from that job because he lied and said he had a master's degree, and he didn't. So he was clearly very stable and educated person.
Wow. So he sounds like a real winner.
I don't mind that take, though.
Seriously.
That is the loosest connect the dots.
No, that's amazing.
There are probably a million other reasons that you could do that. I mean, I just don't get that.
From there, think about it's America's sport. Only America really plays it well, or it's internationally known as America's sport. Patriots, the fucking Patriots of America, are basically America's team, besides America's team, the Cowboys.
Besides my team or Chicago's team.
So you're telling me that the year the bear becomes an endangered species is the year that we got to watch out for, because that's when we're really going to have to like get behind.
It's a good take.
No, it'll be
what about
species?
Once Russia fully infiltrates the U.S. government, then the Bears win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Okay, now there's two good takes. Where do polar bears come into that? Polar bears are already endangered. Is that because are we on the rise now?
No, the Chicago Bear is a grizzly bear. Come on. We don't care about polar bears.
Yeah, if the Bears changed their logo to a polar bear,
then
all of the polar bears would go extinct, and then the government could just be like, well, the polar bears are obviously fine because their team just won the Super Bowl.
At least they're going to go out on top. Or it's one of the others.
No, they still exist because they won the Super Bowl.
So should the Falcons actually be...
The Falcons?
The Falcons actually be the drones, since birds aren't real?
So that's a good segue into our dumb question of the week, and it was basically share with us your favorite conspiracy theories. We got a few nominations here, but the only one that's really worth hitting on once again is birds aren't real. I'm going to say that again. Birds aren't real. Tanner posted this on our Instagram page, and I was immediately interest piqued.
You're just drawn to it right away.
I've got to know. Please elaborate on this.
You're like, wait, I haven't seen a bird in the last couple of months. This could be true right now.
Well, that's the thing, is that you still see birds, but they're actually drones controlled by the government. And all of the birds actually died in 2001. And every bird you've ever seen since then was a drone.
Why did they die in 2001?
9/11.
Okay.
Obviously.
So it's 9/11 ties into this. Okay.
But
makes sense.
I very stupidly, I'm probably on some government watch list now because now I'm following the Twitter account Birds Aren't Real. Should we just play this?
Play that video.
There is a birdemic happening!
A bird.
Birds are a myth. They're an illusion. They're a lie. Wake up, America! Wake up! God! Birds are real! They're not real. They're a myth. They're an illusion. Thank you for your time. It's meant to brainwash us. Wake up, America. Have you ever seen a bird in real life?
Yeah.
No, you've seen an Obama drone. I've lost hundreds of dogs.
Obama drone.
It goes on like that for a little while.
Wake up!
This guy kind of looks like Logic, the rapper.
It does, yes.
Oh, it's the glasses for sure. He's wearing a sweatshirt that just says sports on it with an exclamation point.
I need to get that sweatshirt. It's a dad's hoodless sweatshirt, too. Amazing.
I gotta be honest, they make some pretty solid points here.
What is the one with...
This is Edward Snowden.
Yeah.
The tweet says, our very credible source on this has requested to remain unnamed, and we will uphold that promise. And it's just a picture of Snowden.
Very
for no
small
reason.
picture.
The best thing on this Twitter feed is the Putin gif. It says, while the phony liberal media totally falls for the Trump smokescreen, Russia is parading their Putin drones around in plain sight. There's a gif of a bird literally saluting Vladimir Putin. I've never seen this video before, and I don't understand how. It doesn't look like it's doctored, but this is fucking brilliant.
Yeah, you mean a gif of a drone, not a bird.
Yes,
right. I'm sorry, that's what I mean. It's a pigeon drone, right?
Yeah. I honestly couldn't be more convinced of this. Think about people are all distracted about the internet. They can see what you're looking at. No, the birds are looking at you, man.
What is the power line thing?
So this
is great.
So it says power lines are drone charging stations. It's like a shot with a bunch of birds just chilling on power lines. Why on earth would we need to prop up wires in the sky to give energy to our homes? All those wires are underground anyways. Clearly these are public drone charging stations propped up in plain sight. Yes. I'm sold.
Yes.
I mean, like, you think about America. What is our animal? It's the bald eagle, the ultimate bird.
Wow.
I mean, it's been right in front of our faces this entire time.
They're just taunting us.
Wow, my mind is blown. I mean, have you ever seen just a big flock of birds and the patterns that they make in the sky?
Yeah.
Animals can't do that. Those are drones.
To be a drone.
What does the V stand for when they're flying?
Vladimir Putin.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Look at all these dots are connecting, you guys. This is insane.
Great. Now we're all going to get murdered suspiciously.
We've been infiltrated.
You're going to get in your car and your brakes aren't going to work.
Okay, so whatever happened to the director of the movie Birds. Like,
Alfred Hitchcock?
Did he get he got killed, obviously.
Never heard of him ever since.
Never heard of him since,
I
man.
legitimately was just thinking about that. That was the first movie in my like film theory class that we had to write something about. And you give me that topic right now and it's got a whole new meaning.
Birds aren't real.
I'm totally flabbergasted by this. Thank you so much, Tanner, for bringing this to my attention.
Holy shit.
Okay, so dumb question for next week.
Do we have one? Or, I don't know if I'm sold on the dumb question that you brought up.
Well, then think of a better one right now.
Right now?
What is the dumb question you brought up?
Go ahead and you bring it up and I'll see if I can
Forgot what you said.
Name a movie or TV show that you changed your mind about after rewatching. So either you thought it was bad, but you actually liked it afterwards, or you thought it was good and then you watch it and you're like, oh, this actually sucks.
I can't even think of one.
Is that a question that we answer?
We would post this on social media and come back to it next week.
Got it.
But if you have a suggestion,
I can't even think of one like that, though.
I think the one example that comes to my mind every time I think of that is walking out of Anchorman.
Fair.
And that was like definitely like some sort of like group study because it just depends on like who you were with when watching a movie. And I think the group of people that I was with watching Anchorman for the first time in theaters, no one was laughing, so I didn't want to laugh. And it kind of just was just like,
Yeah.
you don't want to be a part of that. Then like
peer pressure.
You put yourself in a position where you want to just be entertained and watch a comedy, and it's exactly what I did the second time around, and I loved it.
The second time around, I was in fits of tears laughing so hard.
How does that happen?
In all honesty.
Are movies funnier when you watch them with other people?
It depends. It honestly depends.
I've watched some really funny movies that I really enjoyed by myself.
We see a lot of movies by ourselves, though.
That's really a true test of like if you think a movie is funny. If you're laughing out literally by yourself,
I laughed quite a bit at Polar.
Yeah.
It's a moment.
So did I.
I actually can't wait to talk about this movie.
I laughed at the ridiculousness from that movie.
It doesn't matter.
But
You
it was
still
fine.
laugh.
I was fine with it, yeah.
What about rename an action movie with a sex position?
That is the most obscure.
Rename some sort of movie with a sex
Okay,
position.
for now, we're going to go with my question. If you think of a better one, we'll replace it. That one
But
was
Brick
not
did.
good.
Mine was way better. What are
I
you
could
talking
not wrap my mind around that. I still don't know what you're saying.
about? Okay. Taken.
Harry
From
Potter
behind.
and the Sorceress Reverse Cowboy Girl.
Okay.
News taken.
Let's talk news for the week. We got our Oscar nominations. The big one, obviously, is Best Picture. We've seen the majority of these already. It'll be much
What
less
do you
work.
mean?
What?
I've seen two of these.
Okay, well, it's going to be work for you then. Black Panther, obviously, which
See.
was big news. We can talk about that afterwards. Black Klansman, which I loved. Mark, you did too. Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Green Book, Roma, which is a Netflix movie, A Star is Born, and Vice.
I'm interested in Roma.
I haven't seen 3 of those.
And I'm sure that they'll be easy for us to see before we actually get to the
Yeah.
Oscars, which will be fucking end of February, beginning of March, I think. But the biggest news here was Black Panther, a comic book movie that finally gets recognition for Best Picture. And it was maybe the 3rd best superhero movie last year.
Who was ahead of it besides Infinity War? Obviously.
I would say Spider-Man. Into the Spider-Verse
Into
was
the Spider-Verse.
definitely a more enjoyable movie.
I agree 100%. I saw it twice.
I don't understand. Mark, you would probably say Aquaman was better. I don't agree with that, but
Oh, yeah, that's a bad take.
yeah,
That's
it
a
is.
bad take.
I don't know anyone who says that Black Panther was better than Infinity War.
I thought the CGI in Aquaman was by far better. And they get recognized for a lot of their CGI, which I don't fucking understand. You ever seen those rhinos? Like, go back and look at the rhinos.
Oh, they look terrible, and his suit looks bad.
Black
Infinity
Panther
War
looked
was better.
real bad.
Aquaman was better in terms of visual effects.
Mhm.
Aquaman didn't even get recognized at the Oscars for visual effects.
I know.
Infinity War is, thankfully, because I thought that was pretty good. But
You know what I just saw yesterday, actually, on TBS? I don't know why I was watching it on basic cable, but Doctor Strange had some great graphic works.
Yeah, like the opening
the
scene was
sparklers,
the opening scene was amazing.
Just
when
like,
they're like,
the building
Like, yeah,
collapsing,
all
Yeah,
that
yeah,
shit,
yeah.
like thinking about all the man hours that went into doing that is just mind blowing. But
They were talking about man hours for the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
I don't know
And
if that's true. Wait, what was the
like
stat?
it was like
It was like 70 hours for a minute, I think, or 40 hours for a minute, something like that, like a full
You
work
said it
week.
took like over 3 years to make this movie?
Well,
Do you think that's true?
You take it as man hours, like you have 100 people working all at once.
Yeah.
it was 800 people.
Sure, but you get my point.
Okay. That makes sense.
Like it
I
doesn't
guess.
take
Mhm.
12 years to make the movie. They just have a lot of people working on it at once.
Yeah, but still, it was something about a second. It was just a shitload of time to make 1 second of the movie.
So back to the Oscars, though. Do you guys think anything got left off?
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
So that's up for Best Animated Feature, which, if it doesn't win, will be a fucking travesty.
Also, did it not get for Best Score? Like,
I actually
soundtrack?
didn't see that. They don't do Best Soundtrack. They do Best Score, which is very different.
They do best song too, which is where 3
song. Yeah, soundtrack. I don't know.
Like they do Best Original Song. Yeah. Like it has to be made for the movie, which the song from A Star Is Born is pretty much locked to be
100%.
A Star Is Born is the ultimate remake. 3 of the 4 iterations of this have been Oscar nominated, and they've actually won.
They've remade this movie 4 times?
At least.
Really?
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
What I'm loving on Reddit right now is, I haven't seen it, but now I have to see both 1 and 2, is Paddington 2 apparently is a big,
dude,
everyone's getting furious over, which I'm really loving because it just looks funny.
Paddington 1 is one of the most highly rated movies on Rotten Tomatoes. It has like 98.
It still has 100.
Really?
I think so.
That's amazing.
That's absurd.
You cannot kill it.
Well, Mark had to see it because he lost a bet, and he was like, yo, this is actually really good.
It was on one of my flights, and I was like in and out of it. Like, didn't want to admit it because we were like on like a man trip, like with me and all my boys. And when we landed, I just wanted to just drop a subtle note, like, yo, that bear movie was pretty decent. No,
yo, that bear had some fucking heart, bro.
Oh man.
Yeah,
raincoat.
You can't watch that on a flight if you're a grown ass man, can you?
You can, obviously.
You might as well be driving a windowless van around.
I know.
Dude,
if you're at like the back aisle,
no,
maybe
because the stewardess is still going to come around. If the flight attendant is still going to be like, "Yo,
doesn't matter.
Want something to drink? Oh, you're watching Paddington. I'm calling the fucking air marshal over here."
No, you're just like, "Yo, it got 99 on Rotten Tomatoes. Fucking watch it." That's what you got to do.
You're 99% a creeper.
So, what do we think about the Oscar noms overall? I mean, none of these are surprises. Like the best actor is probably going to be either Rami Malek or fucking what's his nuts?
Bradley Cooper.
No.
Christian Bale?
I think it's going to be Christian Bale. I think he deserves it.
Is Bradley Cooper up for it?
I actually don't know. I didn't want to go through the full list because it's kind of boring.
That's a lot. Is he up for best director though? I heard that was like a big topic.
Probably. And this is his directorial debut, which is kind of nuts.
That's nuts.
So if I had to watch one of these movies, I heard Green Book is actually pretty funny. It's a comedy. I'm actually interested in seeing that.
The trailer damn near had me in tears. Like that was one of the ones you see the trailer for, and it's like, oh,
it's gonna be good.
Suckered in,
really
yep.
Good, yeah.
But I
never want to do that, but sometimes.
Well, you have to see all of them, Brick. So
yeah,
I know. But I think I'm sold on Roma. Just exclusively.
Well, it's on Netflix, so easiest access ever.
It's shot really well. I saw like the first like half of it on Netflix, and it's pretty.
That's what I'm talking about. Plus, it's got a fantastic setting. Obviously,
was 70s Mexico? Is that right?
Yeah,
sure. It's exactly. In Rome.
Should we do the typical thing that we did last year, where we see all of them but one?
Which one are we leaving out?
The favorite. I don't even know what that is.
We left out what was it? Phantom
Thread.
Yes.
For some reason, a movie about dressmakers I just couldn't get into.
It was the Daniel Day-Lewis, one movie he does every 7 years.
And one of the last movies I think we saw was The Post out of all those Oscar nominees. And that was so bad. And
boring fucking movie. It still wasn't the worst movie on that list.
Yeah.
It was still Call Me By Your Name.
By name, yeah.
You didn't even finish watching it. You turned it off halfway through.
I think that's what I did too.
Brick, I don't think you even started it.
No, I did. And I was like, I'm over you, Armie Hammer. Wait, you want to do it?
Pretentious.
What won last year?
La La Land won, right?
No,
that was 2 years ago.
Almost won.
Shape of Water.
Shape of Water.
Yes. I like that movie.
I thought Three Billboards should have won, but Shape of Water was really good.
Three Billboards was dark, and Shape of Water was like whimsical. I liked both of those movies though. Those were the top 2 in my opinion last year.
Okay, so that's Oscars talk. Let's talk about a couple trailers. The U.S. at least is in a full-thrown just obsession with true crime right now.
Oh,
murder.
So good.
On the same day that this Ted Bundy, the what do they call it? The confession tapes?
Yeah.
On Netflix is the same day where they drop a 4-hour series on Ted Bundy. The Zac Efron Ted Bundy movie trailer drops. I can never remember the name of this. What is it? Incredibly Evil something vile, yada, yada, yada. It's about Ted Bundy. That's all that
Yada,
matters.
yada.
That was the
Best
name of the
part.
movie?
Extremely
I
wicked.
thought those were just like adjectives of the trailer.
No, that's it.
It's
Oh,
extremely wicked, shockingly evil, and vile.
Yeah, that's too many words. This is like Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, The Crimes of Grindelwald, too long.
Did you see the movie title? What is it called? The guy who killed Hitler and then Bigfoot.
And the Bigfoot, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that. I love Sam Elliott, who, by the way, got his first Oscar nomination this year. I'm 100% in for that movie.
What an attention grabber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
The man who killed Bigfoot and Hitler. Oh, okay.
But
Who is
Abraham
that guy?
Lincoln, the Vampire Slayer, like, I think that one caught my eye, but then immediately I was like, no, this is
The
awful.
book
do
was
it.
better.
That was a flop, right? You probably saw that movie.
I read the book, and then they made a movie. I loved the book. The book was awesome.
Yeah.
He's like friends with Edgar Allan Poe, and he's hunting vampires. It's fucking awesome.
Fuck up vampires.
But
I would
the movie
probably love
sucked.
it just because of
It's a
the
period
historical
piece.
rep. Yeah, period piece. I'm a sucker for a period piece. And vampires.
So what do we think about incredibly evil, shockingly blah, 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 blah?
If you can get me to be inside of the brain of a psychopath, I'm just sold. I'm going to watch every second of it because that's just fascinating to me because I'm a psychopath.
I was going to say, do you think their thought process is similar to yours where you can't focus on anything for more than 10 seconds?
No, I was like, everything that he's doing makes sense. Oh my God. No, I'm a psycho.
I think we should call the police
I was gonna
right
say,
now.
we are witnessing the telltale signs.
Yeah. Split personality, psycho. I'm going to capture somebody here and murder them.
I'm just even more pumped up after watching these documentaries. I watched the first 3 episodes of this Bundy documentary on Netflix. Now that because I didn't realize, I knew he was a fucking mass serial killer. I didn't know how he escaped from jail.
I didn't know that
Spoil
he
it.
escaped from jail twice.
Yeah.
I had no fucking
That is
idea.
nutty.
Yeah. I
It's
guess
very cool seeing some of the things in the Netflix documentary and then catching them in like the trailer for this movie.
And
Like how he was talking to girls in a cast and just like asking for, oh, can you help me like move my boat? Dunking people.
The whole Ted Bundy thing is like he was like a good looking guy. Like how could this normal dude like do all these things and like girls loved him, like literally had like fan like bases. But then they got Zac Efron, who's like arguably one of the best looking dudes on earth, like to
Biggest hunk in
play him.
Hollywood.
It's like that's saying a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Like,
Ted Bundy, not that attractive.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
He had that like kind of like
He had a
faded
unibrow.
unibrow
Yeah.
going on.
So I don't know. People look at him and they're like, well, he's not dressed like a clown like John Wayne Gacy, so he's attractive? I don't understand.
Right. The first normal looking serial killer, just super hot.
Yeah, maybe this is Zac Efron's first shot at a best actor, though. I mean, he
We'll
looks
see.
super. He's a good actor. He
I
just
agree.
usually doesn't do roles like this.
It's going to be the whole basis on the movie, whether it's good or not, is his performance. But I'm very excited after watching this
I agree
documentary.
with Chu on this one for giving Ted Bundy the benefit of the doubt of being the absolute biggest hunk of all time.
Yeah, because you can make good
Come
looking
on.
people look a little bit worse.
Exactly.
Charlize Theron and Monster.
They did it for Vanessa Hudgens in this
Mhm.
Polar movie.
That's
Yes,
true.
they made her
That's
look
true.
older.
I was so disappointed in that.
It's also the movies like this kind of like make me feel a little weird because it's like there are victims
Oh yeah,
from these like sorts of
36 of them.
things, and it's nuts. And like anytime I see something, especially if it's like too soon, I remember when the Mark Wahlberg like Boston Marathon movie came out. It's like it's good that they're like addressing this, but it's at the same time
People are still
glorifying it. You
grieving,
can't
yeah.
like help but think that there are people like, what the hell?
Mhm.
I think a story just came out. There was like a mother of some like victims who like doesn't approve of which movie am I thinking of?
I don't know the exact movie. I haven't seen it, but it was nominated for an Oscar.
Oh yeah.
And
Was it
she's
really?
upset because it's about her 2 dead kids.
Mhm.
So yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
But also, like, is there a grace period? This was 40 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's called Patriots Day.
That's the Mark Wahlberg movie.
Yeah, exactly.
The woman that is in this that got away from Ted Bundy in the documentary, holy shit. She's like not that old.
Mhm.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And I know I'm totally spoiling this, but I don't know. I'm just,
It's a true crime story. You
Yeah.
can't always spoil it.
I just think
He's
it's
a psycho. Murdered.
extremely interesting the lack of communication across the United States of what was going on, even when this guy was the most wanted FBI target, and just the utter lack of communication across all the police stations and
That's why
television,
I find-
everything.
I find the 70s, because of this exact example, the 70s was like the perfect storm of lack of communication and not enough technology
Yeah,
and not
it was
sure
the
what the hell's
technology.
going on. This is the first time someone's been going around. It's like the perfect timepiece for a serial killer murderer.
Without spoiling it, though, the one thing that really bothered me, actually, the next day at work, I went up to a guy. He was one of the older guys on my team. He's like 60 years old. I'm like, what the fuck were you guys doing in the late 70s? Because there's a part, not going to spoil it, but they capture Bundy after escaping again, and he's in a different state, and he's the FBI's most wanted. And they don't know who the fuck is in front of them right now in the courthouse. They cannot identify him because he's using a fake name.
Yeah.
I'm like, how don't you know who that guy is standing directly in front of you right now? I was just blown away by that.
How about what a fucking moron Ted Bundy actually was?
Yeah.
He drove the same car the entire time. He told people his real name.
Yep.
He called himself Ted to people he was trying to abduct.
Mm-hmm.
You fucking idiot. That blew me away. I know this is kind of dark, but I got to ask the question. Do you guys have a favorite murderer story?
Good Lord, that is a
Murder
hard question.
story.
So most of what I've learned in the true crime world has come from Last Podcast on the Left.
Same.
And I've been listening to that for a few years. I think my creepiest is John Wayne Gacy, just because of the brutality and him dressing like a clown. But I think if I had to go with my favorite, it's Pee Wee Gaskins, who is just like a Yosemite Sam in real life who just decided to start murdering people.
He had Napoleon syndrome, and he was
100%.
like worked in a carnival, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy was crazy.
I've got two for two separate reasons. One is H.H. Holmes, the guy in the Chicago World Fair that did the
Murder house
or hotel or whatever.
That's insane.
Like how much thought that went into it that long ago is just mind blowing. And then the second one is just because we don't know who it is the Zodiac Killer.
Yeah.
I just need to know who that is. I have to.
It was birds.
It was birds.
But this
Birds
back then
all
it was
along.
actual real birds. Now they're fake birds.
Got it. All right.
Okay, I have one of them, my favorite story about a murderer. I forget his name, but he would, in Alaska, and he would go to strip clubs and basically take these strippers or prostitutes and abduct them and then let them loose in the wild of Alaska and then hunt them down. Like
Wasn't
a
that
psycho.
Canada?
What?
It was Alaska, Canada. I think it was
Those
more
are
Alaska.
not the same place.
They're bordering.
I don't think you understand how big either of those places are, but sure.
I was pretty sure it was Alaska.
Okay.
Yeah. I think one more thing with Jeffrey Dahmer, with him, he went on record and I think gave one of the most in-depth interviews as to what was going on in his mind. So I would say you'd have to think about him because I don't know if it was whatever news station, but they did multiple segments on him talking about his thought process and the really in-depth details of what he was doing with his victims. And just for that fact, I know we had Bundy go on record, but he also talked in the third person as if it wasn't him, but he's completely psychotic. But you have Jeffrey Dahmer sitting there right in front of you and just saying it was an obsession, sadistic. I know what I was doing was wrong, but I didn't think about it that way. And him going into those details, it was just, But yeah, you have to think about Jeffrey Dahmer too, because that was one of the first times we actually really got into the mind of like what these fucking serial killers are thinking.
And like Ed Gein, dude. Ed Gein used to cut people's skin off and make skin lamps and shit, right?
We have one side where you're getting into the mind, and Brick just really likes the sadistic
Murdering hookers.
craziness. All right.
Well, Mark is like, he gets off to blood.
Yeah.
So he's kind of a sicko.
Oh man, go back to Polar. I'm sure we're gonna have some good conversations about that.
He's going to get so erect during it.
He's the one who he is the little French bulldog too.
Oh God.
We'll see how that
Save
goes.
it. Let's move along.
Not happy about that.
I showed you guys the trailer for The Boys coming to Amazon Prime. This is based on a comic book. This looks corny as fuck.
Did that comic come before Watchmen or after?
It had to be after.
Right.
Had to be because that was mid-'80s.
That is the first thing that I thought of was this is a Watchmen knockoff.
Half of the trailer looks like the trailer before the trailer when they like hype up the trailer and they're like the first premiere.
It's music and there's
It was a
nobody talking.
montage. Yeah, like you can't do that.
Yeah, this looks bad. I don't know.
Were you for real about that's Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell? Was that actually him?
That was him.
It's got, what's his name too? Carl Urban. He was Judge Dredd in the newer Judge Dredd.
Okay. Yeah.
And he was in Thor Ragnarok.
Was he also in Star Trek?
Yes.
Who
Yes, he
was he in
was.
Thor Ragnarok?
He's the guy with the shaved head who has the guns.
Oh, yeah.
He takes
Zurg
place
or whatever.
Yeah.
He takes place of Idris Elba, right?
For a little bit. Yeah.
Kinda, yeah. He controls the Bifrost.
He's the gatekeeper.
Yeah. Anyways, What do we think about this Jeff Bridges Big Lebowski teaser?
I don't like that everyone knows about it before the commercial even comes out.
It's a teaser. That's what the whole point is.
Yeah, you get teasers for trailers all the time now.
No, isn't the whole point it was specifically made to be a Super Bowl commercial?
I don't know, because I don't know what this is going to be. And I'm going to be really pissed if this is like a Kahlua ad.
Yeah, I don't know. I
like
read up on it and I thought it was
man.
a Super Bowl commercial.
I mean, it's 100% just going to be a Super Bowl commercial and nothing else, right?
The one thing that like makes me like hopefully think otherwise is that there's like no brand mention when there's like a teaser ad.
That's a good point.
Like,
kind of spots
like
something.
because you're getting views for this teaser ad, like a lot of media attention, and like you kind of are missing out on just that click with like without your logo or something.
Mhm.
But otherwise, it may make like the end result that much bigger once they see it during the game.
That's a good point, though.
But going back to what we were talking about before the recording in the Australian Tourism Board,
Yeah, with Danny
Like-
McBride.
I didn't know that was for Australia. It's
I was mad about that, too.
yeah,
Oh yeah, same. That
similar.
was a great teaser.
I wanted actual Crocodile Dundee with Danny McBride. I would watch that.
Dude, so would I.
Do you think that the Coen brothers could do a sequel to The Big Lebowski and make it good? Or anywhere near the first one?
I heard it might be a spin-off, and I would think that would be a really cool way to go about this.
Well, he has a son, right?
Mhm.
I mean, that's kind of and he would be around 20 now. So, yeah, maybe it's just the dude too.
I heard it was going to be possibly about who's the guy in the bowling alley? Why can't I think of his name?
Jesus?
Yeah, Jesus. Yep. I heard it was maybe going to be about him.
I'd watch that. He's such a role player, though. He's
Mhm.
I don't know that he can lead a whole movie like that.
Here's what they need to do. They need to combine Big Lebowski and Kingpin and get Bill Murray villain in there.
Yeah, I think I'm out on
No.
that.
What? How is that not a great idea?
Nope, I'm out.
Speaking of Kingpin, the director, what's his name, is the same director for Green Book. He's like one of those like comedic directors turned like serious.
Oh shit.
Him and Adam McKay like both like kind of just like we're like fuck it, we can do this too. I was just reading about that. It's pretty awesome.
Oh damn!
But he did Kingpin,
Now I really want to see Green Book.
a ton of
Honestly,
those other movies, whatever. But yeah,
let's.
I waffle on Adam McKay, but I think I've talked about him enough in the last month.
Yeah.
So there's rumors now that the New Mutants movie, which we were supposed to get already, I believe, is bad enough that it won't even get a theatrical release. Instead, it will get sold to Hulu and it'll release around Halloween. That's bad, right? Because we're getting an X-Men movie before that one even comes out. And that one's getting even less press.
Were they doing a bunch of reshoots or something? Like, why are they delaying it so much?
It's been delayed twice. Supposedly they reshot basically the entire movie.
Damn. That's
that
bad.
Sucks because I
That's all you needed to
love
say.
New Mutants. It's got to be bad. But on the other end of that, and I'm curious about this, they've already greenlit Detective Pikachu 2.
Really?
So isn't that the opposite sign of going to Hulu? Is like, this is going to be good.
It's got to be amazing then.
that's pretty impressive. I actually made an Instagram post about this a while ago that Pikachu, that little fucking rat, sort of ruined my childhood with that.
Rat-a-tat? Rat-a-tat?
you
No,
the
because
only
my name
person?
is Chew.
Oh.
And then
Pika.
instantly, I already had Chewbacca as a thing. And then out of nowhere, in 1996, this little Pokemon comes onto the scene, and everyone's like, "Hey, Pikachu, like your name."
Let me take a Pikachu.
Oh, there you go. I actually asked someone to a dance with a big Pikachu sign, and it said Pikachu. And it was me.
Very
It was
clever.
great.
Was it successful or?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, you
How
can't.
do you say no
You're
to
like,
that?
no, it wasn't. That's why I fucking hate the name.
To get a green light on a sequel before the first one even comes out,
I think that they know how big this is going to be overseas,
Yeah.
like Japan, China.
100%.
They might want to just lock up Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds in Asia. Did you see his? They do like a Masked Singer there. I don't know if it was the original, but he was a Masked Singer.
Oh, I have
Oh,
seen
really?
that.
Yeah,
I
and he
totally.
whips out.
Yeah.
I don't know which Asian country they were in, but they were going crazy. He was a megastar.
He is. He was actually speaking this week at the Chinese premiere of Deadpool 2, and he says that Deadpool 3 is going to go in a completely different direction. Often they reboot or change a character maybe 4 movies too late. Is this just because Disney bought Fox and they're not going to be able to do the super dirty rated R stuff anymore?
I hope they stick with the
Hope
rated
not.
R.
I just don't know, man. Disney's a weird company. I don't know if they'll be able to stomach it.
Does Disney not have any rated R movies?
I can't think of any.
No.
Wow, that would really suck.
Even everything that's on ABC or ESPN or any of the other properties is, that's pretty squeaky clean.
Damn, that would be very disheartening because Deadpool himself, just like the whole character is just a loudmouth jokester asshole that needs to have the R rating. Well, I think Ryan Reynolds has some sort of clause that makes it needs to be like a rated R, right? Or he will fight for it.
It sounds like you totally just made that up.
I 100% made that up.
They're doing that PG-13 version or whatever that's
Christmas.
coming out, the Christmas special.
So that one already came out.
Oh, so did that do well enough for Disney to be like, oh, this is a good idea?
That's a great question. I wonder if that was kind of just like a test run.
Yeah, because like if it exploded, like what's going to stop them from being like, they should all be this clean?
I wonder if that's the one they released in China, because I know that they're usually a little more conservative when it comes to that type of thing.
True.
Hey, I just want to backtrack just a little bit here about that director that did Kingpin. Just to name a couple of his movies early on.
Adam Farley is his name, right? Chris Farley?
Peter Farley.
Peter Farley.
Farley? Peter Farley.
We were talking about Chris Farley earlier before we started doing this. It's still stuck in my head.
Yeah. So he did Kingpin, Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
There's Something About Mary, Me, Myself, and Irene, Shallow Hal. He's got some really good flicks under his belt here. Now Green Book, and that makes me want to see Green Book even more, honestly.
Well, it's on the Oscar list, so get to work.
Okay.
Last week we talked about Netflix raising its price, and now Hulu is undercutting them. Basically, they're dropping their cheapest option from $8 to $6 a month. You still get commercials and shit, and it's not their full live TV. You don't get any premium commercials, but obviously this is a headline grab, right?
I would think so.
I'm 100% in for the streaming wars. I want full competition for this. I want to be able to see everything. I want them to battle each other on price. Disney's going to have to come in and say, well, we'll do it for, I don't know, $7 a month.
So what is your basic Netflix price right now with that price increase?
I think it's 13.
What do you think is the price point where people are going to be like, I don't think it's worth it anymore?
It's getting there.
I think it could get to like $20 before people start dropping off.
I don't know.
If it hits that 20 marker, I think that's when I agree.
20 would, I think they had already missed the boat like a while ago. I think like 15.
Probably, and I think they're probably maxing out on that area of revenue. Mm-hmm. I think the next thing they do will be banning people from using multiple accounts, and they'll put some AI thought into it to get more revenue.
I agree. They'll do that before they reach $15 a month.
I would think so, but you never know. The interesting thing about the Hulu news, though, is that they're raising the prices on their live TV and premium stuff.
So it's going to be like $50 now.
So it's just the headline thing, though.
Yeah,
we're like, hey, we're dropping our prices, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
We're increasing all the stuff that's worth all the money.
The cheap Hulu package, I got a friend who has it, and it's like a shit ton of commercials.
It is.
It's bad.
I have the real.
There's 2 every One Punch episode.
Wow.
For a fact. Yeah, 2 or 3. I know there's
2 breaks.
Yeah.
And how long is the episode? Like 20 minutes, probably max?
Yeah, they're 20.
24 minutes.
That includes 4 minutes of actual commercials.
Speaking of Netflix, though, Deadline is reporting that a Resident Evil television series is coming. It's going to explore the dark inner workings of the Umbrella Corporation and the New World Order caused by the outbreak of the T-virus. This is going to be developed by the same people that did the movies. So probably not going to be great.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, is it going to be the same actress?
Mila Jovovich? Yes. I doubt it.
Cool. Well, Resident Evil 2 just came out, and my boy Connor actually just bought it. We game share, and I was watching someone play on Twitch just like this right before I left, and I was stressed out watching them play this game. If they can somehow transition this from an action like horror thriller to more a suspenseful thriller, I think I'd be sold on it.
I don't know. I think this property's been beaten into the ground. And isn't that release that just came out? Isn't that just a remaster?
It's a remaster of Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, it was like Resident Evil 2. There's been like 28 of them.
Yeah.
They remastered it and it looks really good. And it's just stressful and suspenseful. And if they can add that somehow into this Netflix series, I would be more sold on it. But the other episode or the other movies have all just been, let's just go do zombie kill fest, which I'm not opposed to, but it just hasn't been great.
I liked a couple of the movies. Mila Jovovich is a good actress for action. But yes,
I know nothing about that universe. So this new, whatever they got in the works is a prequel?
I have no idea.
The Umbrella Corporation is what is like.
They're the ones that created the virus and released it and started the zombies. And
all right. That sounds not fun. Give me zombies.
Is the first movie like at the headquarters of Umbrella Corporation where the guy's dodging the lasers and then it comes in like a grid and like chops them into cubes?
That's
Gross.
Michelle Rodriguez, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're it opens in a mansion, and then they go into the basement where the actual test. I like that movie actually.
I didn't mind it at all.
So
it's probably my favorite one.
I've heard good things about 1 and 2.
Best.
We the best!
Worst.
The worst! She's the worst person in the world. Huge, skank, terrible, but thank you.
Did you guys see the NHL All-Star Skills event?
Oh,
I did.
yes.
So Kendall Coyne is a female. She was on the Women's Olympic USA team who won gold medal in South Korea in the Winter Olympics in 2018. She scored a couple goals or whatever. She's a big name for women's hockey. They invited her to this NHL skills competition, the fastest skater portion. And she was the first one to go. And these guys' faces watching her do this were like, holy shit. She took like 6th out of 8th. But still, she killed it. And she was the first to go. And so much pressure is put on her. But at the same time, breaking barriers and being like the first woman to participate in an NHL competition like this and do so well was pretty amazing.
Sick.
So
That
she's
was awesome to watch.
She's the best woman alive. And my dad actually worked with her dad at this, at the state's attorney office. So she's from Illinois, has background here. So it's cool.
And like being 7th on that list, like it's like milliseconds off. Like the first place ticket, it's like not. It's very, very.
It's not like she lost by
discrepancy.
3 seconds.
Right.
All right, Chu, do you have something for us, or?
I do. It's kind of like a worst guy, best guy sort of scenario
That's
here.
totally allowed.
I don't know if you guys have read the articles, but Chicago has seen a lot of muggings for Canada Goose jackets. And I'm going to give myself a worst guy label for buying one of those things about a year ago. I'm not the proudest owner of one, and I'm looking to sell mine. It's like it's wearing a target on your back. I'm like walking around and I'm like scared. I saw a video of this dude getting jumped by like 3 guys who jump out of a really nice white Mercedes Benz.
Of course. Yeah.
And just like, that's just going to happen to me. And
Isn't that the easiest sting operation ever, though?
Yeah, I know. I just want to like throw like a GPS on me or something. Like, but I'm
You
like,
just low jack your coat.
right?
What's the code again?
Canada Goose.
Canada Goose. Yeah.
If you saw one, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, that one."
It's one of those guys. And I've been one of those guys. And
Oh, yeah.
very warm, but not worth it.
You don't want to get
my
stabbed over a
opinion.
coat. Okay.
The best part of that video, I saw that video. It's not the best part. It's a shitty situation, but still. So these guys get out of the car and this white guy, of course, like not realizing what the fuck is going on. They're trying to pull this coat off of him. And he was just like limping his body to where they couldn't get it off of him. And finally, after like 10 seconds of going at it, trying to get this fucking coat off his back, he finally let go. And
Yeah,
they
they're
got
wailing on him. I'm like, are you kidding, man? I would have taken it off right away.
Yeah.
You don't need a gun. You just need some confidence. And then I would have folded up nicely for you and presented
There you
it.
go.
That's like, take it.
Don't
It's
shoot
yours.
me in the
You
face.
kidding me?
Yeah.
I'll walk
Not
home
worth
cold.
it.
Don't
Yeah.
punch me in the
Worth it.
face.
Yeah. Just something I got to deal with here in the next few weeks because it's getting cold here in Chicago.
No shit.
Freaking freezing.
Yeah.
Rick, who is your best man alive?
I'm going with Julian Edelman because recently he had a interview and reporter asked, well, how does it feel like working with the best of all time? You know, it's like, do you think about that legacy?
You're looking
and all
at him.
And all that jazz. And so he answers the question about Tom Brady. And then he goes, yeah, well, you know, he's like when we're talking about the boat, he brings up Blake Bortles, which is like the running joke with Pardon My Take. And just to be at the Super Bowl getting interviewed about the best of all time and then claiming that it's Blake Bortles and not Tom Brady, that's hilarious. You're the man, Julian Edelman.
I'm going to go the opposite direction with this. My best man alive is a 10-year-old
Yes.
named Ace Davis.
Yes, I know this story.
whose science project was, the hypothesis was, is Tom Brady a cheater?
Oh my God.
His conclusion was, yes, definitely. And he goes through Deflategate and all this bullshit. And he did actual science on this.
He's got his trifold poster,
Exactly.
fucking big ass.
And he goes through the ways that like a ball travels differently when it's underinflated, yada, yada, yada. But the best part was his quotes. And I got a couple of them here. He says, people were asking him like what he would tell Tom Brady if he met him face to face. He says, I would tell him that he needs to retire. And also I would tell him, give me some of your money. You don't deserve it. This kid is fucking savage. My best man alive. Eat shit, Tom Brady, even though I know you're going to win the Super Bowl and you're going to win this bet for me.
His name is Ace?
Ace Davis. He's from Florida, so obviously.
I love that, like, that quote can just be put up somewhere and it could just have, like, the dash Ace.
Yep.
Like, Ace said this.
Yeah, and it's not a nickname.
Speaking of names, I didn't realize that Mayor Daley's name was Richard Daley, so his name is real Dick Daley.
Wow.
that had to have been a hard childhood.
Moving on. So before we get into our movie review for the week, we all watched at least one of these documentaries on the Fyre Festival this week, right?
Yes.
Bonus.
Yep.
Bonus review.
am floored by this. The whole story is surreal, and if I didn't have people saying, like, Chew, you were talking about people that you knew that had either gone or tried to go, I wouldn't believe that this was a real thing.
No, the best part, Chew, you knew a guy who had the magnesis card. That's the best.
Yes.
Best thing I've ever heard.
I definitely wouldn't have believed
Right,
that.
because I saw these news stories coming out when it happened and after it happened, and to a certain degree, I was like, oh, that's fucked. But then this documentary just got crazier and crazier. It's truly unbelievable. I'm so happy it happened.
I'm so happy it happened too. I think my favorite part about this whole thing was the guy who won tickets through his work and loved to see all these millennial people like lose their shit because their luggage was mishandled, and I thought that was the funniest thing.
I get the Schadenfreude, like you enjoy watching these people spend all their money, like they're probably spoiled shit anyways, but watching older people talk about this and be like, oh, these stupid kids, as if they had never been swindled before.
Yeah.
Like every generation gets swindled by something.
But
We didn't get swindled by the fucking .com bubble. You did.
Yep.
So I don't know. Like I get it, but at the same time, like you're not a genius.
No, absolutely. You got to believe that if they're making this amazing promo video about this awesome festival, that a lot of them have come out that are very cool, like EDC, Electric Daisy Carnival. That was a mega festival that kind of exploded onto the scene. There's so many festivals out there that like, oh, that makes sense that someone's going to do it like that, and I'm going to pay $50,000 for something like this. Okay, yeah, if I'm paying this much money, it's going to happen. Obviously,
That's the thing though, is those aren't too good to be true. This was too good to be true. A private island where everybody gets their own villa, that was never going to happen.
Yeah, I love the guy that was like uncovering the truth before anyone else, and that started that Twitter page and was like, "Yo, guys, this is a sham." Like, that dude probably had the last laugh. There was evidence that it wasn't going to happen, and like, if you're a reporter, any journalist, I just don't understand how that wasn't uncovered.
And the fact that he was the only one to look at a map of the island and see that the map that they were showing was just a piece of a larger actual island with resorts and shit on it.
It's nutty.
Yeah, he was the biggest pessimist of them all, and it was so Billy McFarland. You brought up a question earlier. Billy McFarland or the guy who
Martin Shkreli.
Who did what?
Who's the bigger D-bag? He's the guy that owned a pharma company. He's in prison right now for fraud from the SEC, I think. But he bought it's not a medicine for AIDS, but it's a common side effect or disease that people with HIV and AIDS get. It's some kind of parasite, I think. So he bought this drug and raised the price by like 12 or 13 times. So I was asking who the more punchable person was, because they're obviously both douchebags.
Yeah, Billy McFarland sucks ass, but
his face is super punchable.
That's the thing.
Looking at his face, you
just
want to strike him directly in between the eyes.
And you have to include that here. Yeah. It's not just who is the worst person, because that's Martin Shkreli pretty clearly, but who would you rather punch in the face?
Okay, this guy does have a very punchable face, and he denies everything. He's like, I didn't lie at all the whole time. I was just trying to make a really good concert.
I just know one too many Billy McFarlands where it gets a little personal. So like, I think that's an easy answer for me. But I mean, obviously, Martin Shkreli is the worst villain in all of this. But you know, you see someone like Billy, and he just reminds me of all the other idiots you've met like that in the past. And it's like, how the hell did you get that far?
Everybody who's ever had an app idea.
Yeah.
The worst part is he just, in the back of his mind, thought everything was going to be okay. And
he is a psycho.
He was going to figure it out.
He had an entire company like behind him that like was freaking out. That's the worst part is like he's actually running a legit company, like, or trying to at least,
He's
that was
getting
doing something other than the festival. And it's
millions of dollars from venture capitalists or
They had
whoever,
the app.
all these companies.
It was it makes sense. It's a good app to have. How do you reach out to, if you want to have someone awesome at your birthday party and you got the money to do it, how else are you going to reach out to them?
All right, hot take. I think Ja Rule is a bigger villain than Billy McFarland in this.
Agree.
When he comes on and he calls himself a rap mogul, I was offended. Ja Rule is not a rap mogul. His music sucks. It always has. He was bad in Fast and Furious. Fuck you, Ja Rule.
What's my motherfucking name?
Your voice is dumb. Everybody hates you.
Yeah.
He should be in fucking prison.
He was in some movie where his name was Smiley.
Ugh.
What movie was
I
that?
have no idea.
Assault on Precinct 13. That was the movie.
What the fuck is that?
I saw it with Wilpo, and I think
It's a remake.
Ajay, you might not know him, but we made fun of that movie so hard because his fucking name was Smiley. Like, come on, Ja Rule, you psycho. That's the dumbest thing ever.
There's so much press around Fyre, both documentaries and just everything else surrounding it, that there's gonna be a second one. Like, it sounds insane, but also it sounds like the most sane thing ever.
The only thing
It had a shit ton of backers. It had all these models who have all these followers.
Because if anybody can tell a good business,
But
it's
at the-
definitely
but at the
Instagram
same-
models.
At the same time, they were convinced it was going to happen. You have
Sure.
Fuck Jerry, who's one of the biggest has one of the those followings
guys,
on
too.
Instagram. Yeah, fuck all those guys, but still,
I'm
it's
surprised like James Dean didn't get an invite. Honestly.
One of my favorite quotes from the Netflix documentary is because when they did this entire campaign program, trying to hype it up, everyone did the orange squares, like all the models
Yeah.
and
Yes.
influencers. And it was like, it took this many influencers, this much money to build up the hype for Fyre. But it took that one sandwich image to just fucking completely ruin it. I was like,
It's
yes.
done.
So which of these docs was better?
I haven't seen the Hulu one.
I haven't seen Netflix.
So the big difference, the Hulu one actually had Billy McFarland in it.
But the Netflix one
and you-
had the story about the guy who was going to blow the dick for water.
But with
So,
Hulu,
I don't know.
Hulu, you get to see the punching capabilities of just striking him directly in the
Oh,
face.
I
because
bet. That's probably why you have that take more than I, but that's awesome.
half of it is just him getting interviewed.
Yeah.
Going back to the Hulu
Just a
Netflix
piece of
like discussion, it's like, I love that there's like a very just obvious way to compare the two and just like
Stream Wars, baby.
how the competition is just unfolding before our eyes.
Well,
They
the
were
shitty thing is they both paid assholes to do these docs. One of them paid Billy McFarland. The other one paid the Fuck Jerry guys.
Yeah.
Kind of shitty either way.
Yeah.
But the Hulu one had some of the fuck. They had one Fuck Jerry guy, I think.
Yeah,
right?
but he was the guy that was working for Fuck Jerry, and then they kind of threw him under the bus. So he was obviously coming on to tell his side of the story and say, these guys are assholes.
Yeah. The
Got it.
craziest thing is how he was talking about all the keywords he would put into like how they could block posts based on certain words that would be sent
That's
said in the
crazy.
comments and
That's
stuff.
crazy.
And it was literally anything from like festival even. And they'd block comments because they knew the shit was just going to fucking unfold before their eyes.
But Chew, your point, somebody's going to come in and do this right. And it's going to be a reputable, it's going to be like Ticketmaster or some
Right.
shit.
Right.
Dude, that's one thing that America and the world loves is just the redemption story, right?
And like everyone's talking about this. Like something's got to happen from it. Going back to the streaming wars for a second, it's funny. All my conversations in the last week, I can tell who has Hulu and who has Netflix. People are like picking teams. It's like, well, I can't watch it on Netflix yet. So I think the Hulu one's better because it has this and this, and it's like people are having these debates, and it's so comical because it's just like just watch them fucking both.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Anything else on Fyre before we move on?
Who needs the headline to get you to go if you were to go?
Lil Jon.
James Dean.
Hell yes. James Dean is the answer.
James Dean is never the answer.
He's always the
Let's
answer.
get into our movie review for the week, which is Polar on Netflix, not to be confused with Arctic,
Oh yeah.
which also came out this week and also stars Matt Mikkelsen and also has a cold name.
None are based in Chicago, which is the coldest place on the planet right now.
I don't think that's true, but sure. This is
Fact
based
check me.
on a Dark Horse comic, which is based on a webcomic.
Which is based off of a graphic novel too. I guess.
It was a webcomic, then it was a Dark Horse comic.
Oh yeah.
Now it's a
Okay.
movie, which is what I said. Directed by a guy named Jonas Ackerland, who did mostly music videos for Madonna and a couple Taylor Swift and Rammstein concert films.
Hell yeah.
He also has a movie coming out next month that is based on death metal people in Norway. there's a last podcast episode about it where they were actually killing people, these death metal bands. This is coming out next month. It's called Lords of Chaos. I'm actually kind of interested.
Great title.
So this movie is currently at 12% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Are you kidding me?
I wanted a bigger sample size. Obviously, this is not a critic movie, right? No critic is going to see this and be like, yeah, that's good. So I went to IMDb. It's got a 6.4 out of 10 with over 4,000 votes. I think that's a little more representative.
Yeah.
What do you compare this to?
If Austin Powers had a baby with Sin City and Solid Snake had a baby with Taken, and those two babies grew up, met each other, and
had
fucked,
head injuries,
and fucked, listening to a Deadmau5 CD, we'd have Polar.
That is very specific. I was going to say this is Smokin' Aces plus John Wick.
What?
That's exactly what I said in the car with Ricchetto. Yeah.
Wait a second. I'm the crazy one here? Did you
No.
Do you hear what you just said?
My mind
No. I said the exact same thing in the car ride over.
On the car ride over.
Oh.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of like Devil's Rejects in there for the gore.
Yes.
It's got that like, what would that be?
Meth? I think you're
early
looking for
2000s type movie feeling.
I would
did a
say
lot of
late
these
90s.
90s?
Like straight to DVD.
Okay. Yeah.
I was going to say, if this movie was made in the 90s, this would give Terminator numbers. This would be an amazing movie.
I don't know about that.
Not Terminator numbers. Come on.
Yeah, I definitely had some Smokin' Aces feel to it, especially with like just the way they treated it graphically and stuff. I mean, these like comic book movies, graphic novels that like turn into films, they always try to keep those like, aspects part of it, which is great. I think what they overdid a little bit was the little slide transition. It happened like
Was that supposed to be like
Star
a
Wars.
page flip? Like a.
Yeah.
It's just a transition that you would get in like a cheap Adobe software.
Yeah.
Not even that.
A little gimmicky.
That's iMovie. iMovie transitions.
I think the one
free.
comic book movie that like did it completely right was Into the Spider-Verse and Scott Pilgrim. So like when they do it right, it's great. But sometimes it's like if it's just an edited Premiere effect,
Sure.
it gets a little weird. But I liked it. The John Wick like type of like one man renegade sort of thing like that, or like Taken, or any one man just wrecking crew is always something that I'm going to be watching, and I enjoyed it. And that plus just the gratuitous gore and sex was just. I had no idea what I was getting myself into.
Very intense.
I didn't know either, and that's what I think I liked about this movie was I honestly forgot the title of the movie to begin with. I had to ask, like, what are we seeing again? I saw the preview, but I forgot completely. And then there were scenes in this movie that I was like, they're going for it. They're not messing around at all. They're taking charge 100%. The sex scene,
Which one?
Yeah.
Well, the one where he aggressively has sex. Well, we'll
In the cabin?
We'll get that into the spoilers. Yeah, the cabin sex scene was
the
crazy.
assassin's main job, which is to just give blowjobs as
Apparently,
a distraction.
That's her finishing move. Because Johnny Knoxville too, just
What an aggressive opening.
Great cameo.
Johnny Knoxville blowing rails and getting a head
Getting blown
at a mansion. Like, wow.
That's a powerful opening scene for sure.
Dude, when Johnny Knoxville's agent saw that movie or saw the script, and he just like, I'll give you the first 5 pages of this script. Let me know if you want to do it. And he was like, sold immediately.
Well, coming off Action Point.
Yeah, it's
he
already
only
better
had
than Action Point.
Up to go. So we talked about Mads Mikkelsen, who I think is excellent in this movie. He's a good actor. He doesn't have a ton of lines, but it doesn't really matter. We also have Brick's girlfriend, Vanessa Hudgens.
Woo.
They made her look like an old woman in this.
Okay, I'm pretty pissed I was pretty pissed about that. But let me see if you guys can guess the characters based off of their descriptions.
I don't think I remember any of the names.
I don't remember the names.
Exactly.
I don't.
Camille.
Camille
a clumsy lumberjack / bird person.
That's Vanessa Hudgens. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Bird person?
She liked to watch birds.
I'm just saying bird person.
Okay. Cindy, the one girl who is somehow sluttier version of
Blowjob
Harley
distraction assassin. Yeah.
Quinn. Okay.
Spelled S-I-N.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. For obvious
Sin.
reasons.
Duncan Visla.
That was Mads Mikkelsen.
Solid Snake from Metal Gear.
Yeah.
That's him.
What was
That's
his name?
appearance.
His assassin name? The Dark or the Black?
Black Kaiser,
Yeah.
which is actually kind of a good name.
Yeah, I like that.
Fancy boy, Star Wars kid, and his father was Wednesday Addams.
What?
Is that Matt Lucas, the fat boss guy?
Banana suit famp, dork ass, He's dressed as a blue
That
banana.
dude was hard to look at. He's one of those guys that, like, every time I'm on the scene, he's a very hateable character for sure.
Oh,
but
God.
a little bit more like than I think I needed it to be, because I was just like,
I wasn't sold
this
on him at
dude
all.
was the leader. Like, I get like the comedic aspect of that.
That's what I like about a good revenge flick, though, is you make somebody absolutely despisable.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's
I wanted him dead real quick. So
yes.
I wanted him dead, not because of what he was trying to do throughout the movie. It was just, I didn't like him as that character.
Do you recognize him from anything?
No.
So his name is Matt Lucas. He's really big in Britain. He usually does like comedy sketch work. He was in Little Britain, which I don't know.
No, I've never.
Little Britain's big sketch comedy type stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, this is probably the most serious role he's ever had.
Yeah.
And that's serious role is a stretch of the imagination.
he did that torture scene right, because it was just like such a that was hard to watch.
It was.
That was hard to watch.
Cringeworthy.
But he was like just dropping that little line, and then just with the music and just his like bright colors versus just like the dark and just absolutely brutal scenes.
Birthmark, Jesus.
Oh yeah,
He's been slapped in the face with a dick.
Piggybacking off of the bright colors stuff, I thought they did a really good job at that too. When you have Mads Mikkelsen in where was it, Montana?
Mhm.
No, yeah, in Montana. Like all those scenes were super dark, very gray, white, black based, and then you had the ones like I remember specifically when they go into just a bunch of junkies. No, when there was a bunch of junkies sitting around, and how bright all the colors were in that room, and you even have the fucking fiery red-haired assassin guy, and just like looking at him like, whoa, they did a good job, and that was very comic-y.
From a technical standpoint, this movie was real strong.
Yeah.
The direction, the camera angles, all that, the sound. If you didn't watch this in like surround, you missed a good part of what it was meant to be, because it was beautifully mixed.
It was made by Deadmau5.
One thing that did bother me about, I guess you can put it in the sound category, there were specific scenes where you can really tell. You ever hear the dialogue and you can tell they like re-recorded over it? Like that's
ADR.
not him actually saying it. Specifically when they go into the penthouse of the diddler. Most of that whole scene, I don't know what it was, but it just sounded like that kind of shitty re-recorded voiceover kind of stuff.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
You know, it was weird. It was like the mouthing didn't match up with
what he was saying. That was weird.
Yeah.
I agree. That was a weird scene.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, I agree. Like all the sound effects were very on point.
Okay, I have two more of these characters that we need to name. Hildy, which was the villain's diaper kink mistress, aka the vocal leader of the A-Team. And I say vocal because she had no eyebrows. And
the Asian chick, she like that team of assassins. They were considered the A-Team, but they were pretty terrible.
They were the D
they had a good scheme going on where
they're just killing all these people who lived at these houses.
slutty Harley Quinn would just bang them, and
Did
then
you-
she'd give them a blowjob, and then they were supposed to be assassinated.
What was subtle about that entire sequence when they were going around to the properties that this
Subtle.
Yeah, there's nothing really subtle about this, but something that I liked. Everyone that rented these properties from our boy Duncan was like terrible people. Like we had,
100%.
and like I don't know if there's like a seven sins like situation going on or something, but like there was just a lot of different aspects of just awfulness in people, and so you didn't feel too bad when they were just getting gunned down.
Yeah.
You didn't feel
Agreed.
bad at all. Alexi, you combine the Lucky Charms assassin with Scott Evil from Austin Powers.
The redhead guy, obviously.
Yeah, that was just on point.
These are from like where are these from? Did you write these?
I made them all up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. God.
Mark, outside of the actual softcore porn aspect of this, was this murder porn for your twisted ass? Like, did you get off?
Oh man.
Don't
How do I put this? Yes.
100%. That hallway scene got me off. Are you kidding me?
The hallway scene was great.
Hallway
Yes.
scene was sick. I have three scenes that really.
Honestly, the torture
whipped
scene
for
was
it.
a little too much.
Really? I don't think you've ever said that on this show.
No, it was too much. The French Bulldog scene, and I was about to fucking
let's
just
save
turn
that
it
for
off right
spoilers.
now. Yeah,
I
was going to turn it off right then and there.
I went very high and low on that. I'll tell you about it later once we get into
Like,
spoilers.
are you fucking? I was so excited for the potential of this dog being in the whole movie.
We'll get into it later, dude.
God damn it!
So let's talk about the verdict for this. I thought the action was solid. Creative murders. The sound mixing was brilliant. This scratched this super over the top, ultra violent itch that I have. I don't need it very often, But if you don't try to take this seriously, it's pretty damn enjoyable.
Nope.
I kind of want to see this again.
Yeah.
So do I.
As long as you know what genre this is, you're going to be good. Just know what you're getting yourself into.
There is a genre. Chew, what was the genre you brought up earlier?
I sort of said it earlier, but it is just like this one man or woman who just takes the law into their own hands.
It's
or
revenge
assassin.
porn.
It's great. I love just seeing a system crumble because of one person. And it, like, one of my guilty pleasures, if it's John Wick or Taken or even like Braveheart, like that's like,
yeah.
like
Braveheart,
I just love
yeah.
seeing like one person, like Kill Bill, like just
take
completely
control.
just
Take it over.
fucking doing everything. And this was that plus a lot more.
Yeah.
Plus some porn and plus like it was crazy. And I
Yeah.
think that genre needs more movies because I love this kind of shit.
So I'm going to say, obviously, go watch this. Mark?
Yeah. Watch it. Why don't we just do stream it or skip it?
Yeah,
Right.
so stream it.
Stream it.
Obviously, you
Yeah.
can't go see it in a theater, but
Stream it.
so pretty much unanimous here.
Put it on a fucking projector and go see it.
I would say if you have the opportunity to see this in surround sound, it's worth it.
I was watching it through my Xbox app and I had the surround sound going. I couldn't
Surround
agree more.
sound it.
Dude, Deadmau5 just like being the person who made the soundtrack and the score that's amazing. It all comes together when they leave on the final like shot. They have like that badass guitar.
Yeah.
That was actually like sick. I'm pretty pumped. We'll get into spoilers in a second. So see it.
This is a great movie to just sit down with your bros and watch.
This is 100% a bro movie. And
100%.
I feel like our audience,
Crack a 30 case.
generally speaking, if you're listening to us and you find our twisted sense of humor funny or enjoyable in any way, this is probably for you.
Yeah. Or your gals.
Yeah.
Whatever. Just crack a case. Bush
Yeah.
Light.
If you are expecting any unexpected like pop-ins, be careful with where you're watching this, because if mom walks in and somebody's saying
Yes.
that could get weird.
Erica walked downstairs during the torture scene, and I was like, pause immediately. Okay, so
Would have
spoilers.
been better if it was the porn scene where they're actually having sex for actual 10 minutes.
That might have been less awkward.
Yeah.
I agree. God, let's do spoilers.
Spoilers from this point forward. I'll mark it in the show notes. Let's talk about that torture scene, because it was pretty fucking brutal.
Oh,
He's just going at him with wire cutters. One of the most infuriating feelings in the world is like when somebody pinches you on the back of your arm,
yeah.
and it's just like, it doesn't really hurt, but it just stings, and you're just like, ah, fuck. Imagine that 100 times, and
Yeah,
much worse because he's actually cutting you with wire cutters.
Oof, like a piece of paper. Fuck. Yeah. It's bad.
I
And
thought
I
it
don't-
was I thought it was gonna get worse, but the fact that that's all he was doing for almost 4 days straight was just like, what? That's the worst.
And then he started like just stabbing him with a
Yeah.
little knife where it wouldn't like actually puncture an organ, but it would just fucking make holes in him.
Yeah, so it was over a couple of days, so he would progressively get tortured worse and worse. And then the last day when he gets stabbed in the fucking eyeball, and then
Oof.
he has to sit there and just, like, they let him go and he's laying down. Just, that's like, I felt his throbbing pain like, through my body. I was like, oh God, it was over the top. And they went for it in a bunch of scenes.
Well, it's Mads Mikkelsen, so something had to happen to his eyes.
So 3 scenes that define this movie that made me actually like this movie a lot was obviously the sex scene, because I didn't expect it to go way over the top than it did. The teaching kids the cold hard truth about the international super assassin.
Hilarious.
I fucking lost it. That scene was hilarious.
That was good.
I was dying, and Erica's like, what are you doing down there?
Dude, he passed around a knife that he like showed the kids how to kill all the pressure points on a person, and this cutest little girl just like raised her hand like with excitement while waving this aggressive knife in the air. I thought that was the funniest thing ever. So there's the sex scene, the teaching children the cold hard facts, and then that hallway fight scene was incredible too, where he just kept beating the shit out of everybody that walked in that hallway.
Yeah.
Amazing.
He does the MacGruber throat rip. He grabs a guy's trachea and just rips it out. I laughed
That was
so
awesome.
hard.
That was when he escaped from being tortured, right?
Yeah,
That was
which
one of those
leads
scenes,
into
yeah.
the hallway scene.
Yep.
And after seeing all of this, it goes into the Austin Powers nameless goons as he walks into this building to finish off the final boss, and his security guard was like, he's coming in here, fuck this, I'm out of here. And just everybody left. And they're like, excuse me, as he's like walking up the stairs. I thought that was actually brilliant. That was brilliant.
So why do all these younger assassins still follow Dude Ass? I don't know. Who's
they're
the
getting
main
paid.
villain? But the whole thing is they're killing this guy because he's now getting paid out for retirement.
They're assassins.
Do they not realize this is eventually going to happen to us?
For plot holes in this movie?
No, but that was one big plot hole. I'm like, you guys are all after this guy when realistically this is what's going to happen to you further down the road.
Who cares?
I just didn't understand. God damn it, dude.
If we're looking for plot points.
Fuck this movie.
Guy got stabbed in the eye and they decided to give him a car with tinted windows. Come on. Come on. My man needs all the help he can get.
All right.
Please.
I feel like we should have warned people that a dog dies in this. Look, it should be our civic duty to warn people when a dog is going to die in a
French
movie.
bulldog, dude.
I had a roller coaster of emotions over this. Go ahead.
I don't know. I feel like Mark should be speaking about this because it is a
it's
French
terrible.
bulldog.
All right.
It's terrible. He has his PTSD moment where he just wakes up from a dream. I mean, it was quick, but at the same time, god damn it, yeah. He picks up this French bulldog. First of all, another plot hole. Nobody's selling a French bulldog for under $500.
Oh my god!
Yeah, no way.
$50.
How much was it? 50?
50.
It was $50. I'm like, no way. Okay,
All right,
but
bigger
anyway.
D-bag point. Brick constantly talking about going to Italy, or Mark and his designer dog.
Yeah, Mark, you
Get the fuck out of here.
Huge plot hole there.
I hope the writers took that into consideration because, like we are mentioning, it's a lot of John Wick, type of moments, and that is the ultimate anti-John Wick thing. The entire premise of what John Wick is, they kind of addressed in that short little cutscene to.
That's probably
But if John Wick actually,
That's brilliant.
Yeah, that's a choice
Yeah.
they made. We
Yeah.
can't be John Wick. We
Yeah.
got to do something a little different. So
Yeah.
let's do polar opposite. Lean into it.
See, I had a weird reaction to that because at first I was like, oh, this he looks crazy. Don't buy the dog. And then he's like, I don't have time for a dog. And then he buys the dog, obviously. Kills it immediately. And I was like, well, first of all, I put in my notes, my little crazy psycho notes. I was like, moo, sick. He's in the movie. And then all of a sudden I just go, no, he got murdered immediately.
got my hopes up. I thought this French bulldog was going to be his partner in crime throughout the whole movie. And I
It
was
can't be because those
super
dogs
pumped
are
up for it.
idiots.
God, shut up, dude. God damn it, dude.
But then I forgot completely that Vanessa Hudgens was in this movie, and the first scene that we see her is right after the dog is killed. So I was like, Moose, yes, no, he got killed. Vanessa Hudgens, yes. I was instantly over Moose getting murdered. So sorry, Mark.
God.
Getting someone you care about hooked on heroin is a pretty dark torture method.
Yep.
But then she's just immediately not addicted anymore by the end of the movie.
She's okay.
She wasn't addicted. They just were inducing her with heroin.
So
It's not fraud. It's false advertising.
yeah,
Plot
I'm
hole,
pretty sure
plot
that she
hole.
was hooked on heroin. She had fucking track marks.
Yeah. The ending surprised me. I didn't see that coming.
So I thought when I was watching this, I was like, Vanessa Hudgens is a killer. She's working for the company that's trying to buy out Matt Lucas's company.
Yeah.
So they're going to buy the company, then immediately kill him so they don't have to pay him. This was a different twist. I still liked it.
I thought she was in witness protection, which I guess was kind of closer to what actually happened, but still not.
Well, you know
think
it's going to be a tie-in to that reoccurring flashback he has
Yeah.
throughout the whole movie, eventually.
I don't know. I thought it was good.
They did a really good job with those quick cuts because they were gruesome and quick, but they got the point across.
No, they didn't. You didn't know what the fuck was going on.
But you knew how gruesome it was, just from the quick.
It paid off.
Just from the quick cuts.
It represented his PTSD or however you would.
And it does eventually pay off, which I think is important.
Yep.
What did you guys think about the glove guns?
Awesome.
Oh,
That was
One of my favorite parts.
amazing.
That was
One
so
of my
dope.
favorite parts.
Okay.
That was great.
It was a unique power move. And also in that scene goes back to that Sin City where the colors are popping. That woman had the red coat and just everyone else had black gear on. It just, everything popped in that scene specifically.
That was
And
probably my major gripe was I feel like there was some build up with her character a little bit, and
She was nothing.
she was nothing. I don't know. I thought maybe she would deserve a pretty bad death or would help out in some way, but it was just kind of, I'm gonna let you die. And walk
Exactly.
away. Maybe that was perfect, but I thought there was gonna be more with her. It seemed like there was some underlying storylines there, but
She was just the weird communication aspect of it. And I agree. There should have been more of a role for her.
She did do a good job of oh no, well, we shouldn't mess with this guy, but at the same time, she just cared about the money. I don't
It's
know.
like calling John Wick Baba Yaga.
Yeah, we needed that. I guess that's what she did.
For me, this whole movie was the Mads Mikkelsen, Vanessa Hudgens show. It was they pretty much, they didn't make the movie for me, but I think they did very well in this sort of role. I was really surprised at Mads Mikkelsen, how awesome he did.
He's
Playing
a
this
great
guy.
actor.
I know, but I think of him as that Marvel type villain guy, but seeing him in this kind of John Wick persona
it grew on me.
Is new, and now that's all this shit I want to see him do now.
Yeah, please.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, make a million more of these movies. I'm actually super sold. What did you guys think of the wardrobe in this movie? Because for me, it seemed like half this movie was dressed like people in Fargo from 1980, and the other half were millennial Americans dressed as Tokyo pop stars.
I have not read the comic, but I would assume it's drawn pretty closely from that. And that's why.
It was so drastically different, though. It was out of this world.
Was there anyone you liked besides Mads Mikkelsen's character and Vanessa Hudgens? Like, I could have done
You liked Vanessa Hudgens' character?
Yeah, I could have done. I thought she acted very well, especially at the end.
The monologue was fine.
Thought so. I could have done without any, especially the main villain. Put anyone else in there.
You gotta have a bad guy. You have to have an antagonist.
Yes, you do, but I could have done without.
The bad guy was lame. He was dressed as a Bluth banana.
Yeah, I don't know.
And the Asian chick had literally no eyebrows. You couldn't even tell what she was thinking.
All right, we're running low on time.
Fine.
Wrap up what you got to say about this, and then we'll get to our recommendations.
You need to know what sort of movie you're going to be watching.
Don't take it seriously.
Yes. Turn off your brain and be ready to be shocked in awe from all the violence and sex scenes, and wow.
They have some over-the-top scenes that are worth definitely seeing. It's interesting, some of the murders and the murder scenes and the sex scenes that they bring up. Also, aggressive first gift choice for he like gave her a gun as like a gift.
Yeah,
aggressive first choice.
I would say it's very quick. Like, I think it's 2 hours long, but it's very quickly cut. So like the pacing is real good. I just don't think there's like a lot of downtime. It's pretty action packed, so it'll keep your attention.
All right, Shu. I'm going to ask you for a recommendation. Anything you've been reading, watching, doing lately?
What I'm doing right now, like obsessively, is really old news. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I just recently got into Bob's Burgers, and I fucking love that show.
Oh, Bob's Burgers.
I'm like streaming the hell out of it. That's great. What else is going on?
I love John Benjamin. All-time great voice.
Great voice.
He really does.
And really happy that at one point there was like an Archer Bob's Burger like crossover.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's great. I guess that's really what I'm doing. I'm like all over the place. I got to catch up on so many like of these movies and series and everything else. I feel like I've been kind of infatuated with Fyre for the last couple of days. So gotta get over that.
Mark, what do you got?
Conversations with the Killer, the Ted Bundy tapes, the documentary docuseries on Netflix. Go check that out. Wow. Just holy shit. This is a show that I will watch at work now because that's all I think about. I'm like, holy shit, I need to know what happens next.
Jesus. Okay.
Ted Bundy's a psycho.
Not even because of that, just how it unfolded and like everything that took place.
It's a very interesting era.
And it's I've seen a lot of these docuseries on murderers, serial killers, whatever. I think a lot of people watching these, I don't know, not entertaining, but very interesting to see. And this is probably one of the better ones I've ever watched. So go check it out if that's your thing and you like watching those.
Brick, what do you got?
Recommendations for me. I'm going to go back to The Patriot, Amazon Prime show. Actually funny. It's low-key funny.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's called Patriot. It's about a guy who works for the CIA, and he goes undercover in a international company in Milwaukee, and he's like a shitty employee and has to pretend to know about these things. But it's very funny in terms of the situation, but it's like a serious FBI CIA drama. But it's actually, he's got some good funny moments in it. Red from That 70s Show is one of the main characters. He's like the boss of this company that the CIA agent has to infiltrate, more or less, just so he can kind of travel overseas without being noticed. It's good. It's a good, interesting take, in my opinion. Patriot, Amazon Prime.
Never heard of it. Okay. I finished hate watching You on Netflix. Have you guys heard of this?
Yeah.
It's basically a stalker story. I've never seen a collection of more hateable, irredeemable shitbags lumped into one show. It's like watching a show made strictly of Skylar Whites from Breaking Bad.
Oh, God.
Everyone in this show is terrible.
Dark.
And
That's
everything
dark.
that happens to them is totally deserved. And we talked about hate watching stuff. I hate watched this. I did not enjoy it at all, but I had to get through it.
And you're recommending it because you want us to suffer too?
If you're into this type of shit, if you're into stalking, weird stories like that.
Into stalking.
If you're Brick and you're crazy and you're a stalker, yeah, I guess. And the other thing I wanted to talk about is Deadly Class, which I've actually been reading and watching simultaneously. This is a Rick Remender Image comic book, and they turned it into a show on Sci-Fi. There's only 2 episodes out right now, but I'm super into it.
Who's directing that? Someone big, right?
I
one of the first episodes or something?
don't actually know the answer to that, but I'm pretty satisfied. Since I'm freshly reading this and also watching it at the same time, I'm pretty happy with the way they've adapted it. So big time into that. And it's written by Rick Remender, who wrote one of my favorite comic runs of all time when he did Uncanny X-Men or Uncanny X-Force. Sorry. So, give that a watch or check out the comic book. I also wanted to mention, thanks to C2E2, we actually did get our press badges this year for the first time ever.
Woot woot.
Especially
I was
journalist.
wondering if we were just going to have to stop going, but after the better part of a decade, we finally got our press badges. So we'll see you there in March. You can check us.
Game Dean's numbers.
No.
What's up?
God, you're uninvited. I'm going to log into your email and delete it. So you can follow us on all social media at the Chumpcast. You can call or text us at 847-920-6107. We're available on Patreon if you'd like to support the show. Chew, I want to give you a chance to plug anything you got going on, any social media or anything like that.
Thank you. I doubt your listeners are like branded commercial video work.
You don't know my listeners.
Who knows? But hey, I do video. I'm a big sellout. I make pretty more or less commercials. ChewVideos.com. I do some like content stuff on my Facebook page, which
He
is
works with
the Weekly Chew.
Portillo's.
Yeah, you did a Portillo's one where I was just like, I need Italian beef with side of cheese right now.
Couldn't have wanted Portillo's more after seeing
Didn't they
that
find roaches in a Portillo's?
You know
I
what?
don't
I'm
care.
gonna blame the disgruntled employee on that one.
Think so? Probably, yeah.
No, I mean I imagine that there were some roaches, but you do
Just a
enough.
couple
You do enough
roaches.
digging anywhere. It's a busy restaurant.
All right, well, thanks for tuning in. This has been episode 128. Until next time.
Jumps out, motherfucker.